responsible to be brought to justice, and rightly so. Turns out it was two, like, these cats wasn't even in their 20s, I believe, like 18 and 19 years old, two black boys, two young black men. And I'm calling them thugs not because of their race, but because of their actions. That's thuggish. That's thuggish. And it looks like this young girl had every reason to look forward to having a bright future. And it was just taken away. Very, very, very sad. Very, very sad. So after they apprehend these two thugs, apparently when they were questioned about their motives, they said that they were out hunting, as if they were looking for rivals or maybe a rival gang or just some people they had a problem with. My issue is, okay, that's where you are in your life. You're 17, you're 18, you're 19, you're 20, you've got a weapon, you're driving around the streets of Cincinnati looking to kill somebody. Why are you doing the innocent bystanders? I mean, did they literally think, hey, that's the car right there, that's them. Really? And they got it that wrong? So that's just very, very sad. I mean, that's the kind of, and listen, my man Craig is completely right. That is the reason why people are running out here strapping up. It's stories just like that. Stories just like that. That and these stories of these mass shootings. I mean, everybody's on high alert. Everyone's on high alert now. Are you? Are you? Good morning. If you're just tuning in, currently 8:07 a.m. in the Queen City. Nathan Ivey with you. And we're talking about everything that's going on based in the city of Cincinnati. So a lot of what we talk about in terms of those local issues are going to be really have a connection to the city of Cincinnati. I'm out and about in the community talking with people. I'm at events. I'm your man, your eyes and ears on the scene, in the room in some cases. And I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of things that are going to be percolating within the next year or so. I mean, you got two elections. You got the national election coming up this year. I'm hoping to be able to broadcast a show live from the RNC in Cleveland. The fact that Cleveland just won a championship, it makes me want to go even more. I'm telling you, it's going to be explosive. You got the NAACP convention. They're going to have their national convention here in the city of Cincinnati. And again, I always ask the same thing. What is the impact? Like after they pick up and leave, what will be the impact? And will we be able to quantify? Because we're talking about the national, the NAACP, right? Will we be able to quantify the impact to black businesses that the NAACP is going to have, their national convention? I mean, are they going to be spending money, right, with black folks? Okay? Will they be spending money with black entrepreneurs? And they came here 8 years ago, and I asked the same question then. I've been hip to the game for a long time. You got to follow the money. So it's nice that Cincinnati is going to be ground zero. It's nice that we're going to get that kind of shine. The hotels, the food industry, Uber, people who are in transportation, things like that, they're going to make a mint. They're going to make a lot of money. But is there a plan put in place to make sure that black entrepreneurs get paid? Now, do you have to be a member of the African American Chamber? Is that the only way that you can benefit? Okay, you tell me. I want to get your thoughts about it. So numerous things percolating. And then within a year, you're going to have the mayoral race, which is very, very interesting. I'm hearing rumors, or I'm reading the same stories that you are in local news, the rumors about individuals who may be running. Looks like John Cranley could have a couple of challengers in a primary, one of whom may be a member of city council. We don't know yet, but that's what the rumors are. And then what is that going to do for council? Who's going to lead city council for the next 4 years? So we have a lot to discuss in terms of politics. On this show, I like to mix it up. We don't always just talk politics, but when we need to talk politics, we're definitely there to do so. Charles writes, I don't know, Blaze. Some parents parent correctly per se, and their child could still choose to be a thug. These children are making poor decisions, which carry serious consequences outside of their parents. I'm with you, Charles. I agree with Charles on this one. I agree with Charles on that one. I'm with you on that one, Charles. Crystal writes, you're right, Charles. Sometimes upbringing isn't the problem. Sometimes in the world of Tupac, shorty want to be a thug. Great flow, Crystal. She's right. You know, it's them damn friends. You know what I think the big indicator is? It's the type of people that you allow your kids to be around, like their friends. Because at some point, friends have such a big influence on young people, to some degree, even more so than their parents or whatever their parents tell them. You know, when I was younger, I decided to go to college because all of my friends were going to college. I wanted to keep up. And they were talking about all these great things they're going to be doing and all these people they're going to be meeting and learning, you know, setting up the foundation for the rest of their life. And I wanted to be a part of that. Not joking with you. Previous to that, college. I didn't want to go to high school anymore. True story. And then I went to college and decided to make something out of it and made it work for me. But if my peers weren't into college, if my peers were into running the street and trying to make quick money and be flashy, but not ashy and cashy, I'm just making this up. If my friends decided to do all of that, then perhaps I would have tried to do the same thing. I don't know. I was never into that nonsense. And the idea of being incarcerated in somebody's jail cell was just never worth it for me. But you never know. Are y'all laughing about my bell? Craig writes, a good call, Charles. A lot of these kids get turned out and you have to watch the company you keep. Yeah, absolutely. So, no, should mom and dad lose their privileges because one of your children decide to do something that's outside of what you parent them to do? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. But that's a good flow to Blaze. Good morning nonetheless, though. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. I gave you a list of what Congress has been working on in terms of some of the ideas and amendment to bills. Everything from Dianne Feinstein, who gets a lot of, I don't know why she gets so much heat. I think it's because she's a woman. And some of these white male media types have an issue, I believe, on some levels with women when they seem to have any kind of power. That's just the way I look at it. I could be wrong. Everything from closing the gun show loophole to giving mentally ill people a chance to argue that they're stable enough to legally own a firearm. Some of this stuff to me is just common sense, like the gun show loophole. Again, I know I keep bringing it up, but why don't we do this? This just seems to be so easy. If you're purchasing a weapon at a gun show, you've got to do a background check. What's the problem with that? Why is that? And is that an impediment to my constitutional rights? Is that a slippery slope to open a door for Uncle Sam to reach into my gun cache and empty it? What exactly is the problem with that? I would love to hear anybody's thoughts. I'd love to have that conversation. I don't understand it. Get a background check. Why don't we have a national registry? Why isn't it connected, right? Why doesn't law enforcement already get some type of indication when someone who's on the terror watch list tries to legally purchase a gun? Shouldn't that already be put in place? To me, that just seems to be like basement level, basic logic to me, okay? Why don't we have a national database of everyone who's ever legally purchased a gun? Okay, am I to believe we're all being surveilled anyway? We all know that. Your phone conversations, your broadcasts such as this. I mean, have you ever picked up your phone and things just weren't operating right? Or, yeah, I'll tell you when it really happens. It really happens whenever there's a dignitary that comes to Cincinnati. Watch it. The next time there's a dignitary that comes to Cincinnati, like the president or the secretary of whatever, okay, the kind of person like the Secret Service shows up first and they lock everything down and make sure everything's secure. Every time something like that happens, right, when Obama came to town, I always have issues with my cell phone service. Is that a coincidence? I don't believe so. I think we all understand there's a little bit of monitoring. There's a degree of monitoring, I won't call it a little bit, that's happening on a regular basis. So what's the problem with someone monitoring if you're purchasing a gun? Crystal writes, Mr. Ivey, I still use your story to motivate students. Great story, great successes, many more to come. Well, Crystal, I'm honored. Thank you very much. Which story is that? My personal story? Which story is that? Carolyn writes, Nate, we're going to need something other than that bell. That reminds me too much of Al Sharpton. Carolyn, thank you for that. Just burst my little bubble. Okay. I just threw it across the room. There it is. You happy now? Are you happy? Currently 8:16 in the Queen City. Ed writes, Nate, I'm a member of the OFA. It's organized for action group. The president has been successful in completing everything on the list except for gun control. Hope we can get to a closer on this situation. Time is running out. Crystal writes, they saw the man's car, didn't bother to see who was driving it. Yep. Absolutely. That's exactly what happens. What else here? Kiki. Okay, Kiki and Jerica are making fun, and Carolyn all making fun of my bell. I threw it across the room. You will not hear it again. She writes, yes, your personal story. Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me circle back around here. Locally, let's all try to keep our eyes on this whole MSD story. As I said again, I'm kind of interested in hearing what went down, and really I want to see if I can recoup some money. I'll be honest with you. That is my biggest issue with MSD. At this point, does it really matter who in particular was doing what? I guess it kind of does. You might even have some people of city council who are going to try to run on this. I was watching some city council video last week, and I came across the presentation of the city manager's staff about his investigation in the MSD, and there's at least one council member, that would be Kevin Flynn, who's really running with this. Now, I don't know if this is him trying to make some noise, to try to energize people to vote for him again, like where he's the guy who's trying to figure out what's happening with MSD. I don't know. Maybe it's just a natural thing. This was the audit committee, so maybe this is sort of a natural issue for them to be dealing with. I'm not really sure, but it seems like they're going to make this a real issue. And the local media in Cincinnati is more than complicit to jump on board with it as well. Like I said, I see images of all kinds of people in the newspaper locally, and it's quite interesting to see how this is kind of shaking out. My question is there anyone other than Sam Malone, who is a black man, and the former director of MSD, Mr. Tony Parrott, who is a black man, who the local media believes is complicit or did anything wrong? Now, they didn't say they did anything wrong, but if you read it, it kind of implies there's a lot of question marks, right? So you tell me. Angela writes, late but made it. Glad to have you, Angela. Wanda writes, morning, Nate. Once I updated my Spreaker, I can't comment. The site changed. However, if I come to the email, I can comment. I wish I never updated my Spreaker. Sometimes them updates mess you up. Sorry to hear that, Wanda. I am very sorry to hear that. Again, I sent an email because someone else was having some issues to the good folks over at Spreaker to see if they could deal with it. Haven't heard back yet, but I will let them know what people are saying. Matter of fact, I'm going to screenshot your comment and send it to them directly so they can kind of address that. But you're right. Sometimes the updates do mess you up. I hate when I get an update for the software on my phone itself. And as a matter of fact, I got an update for the software on my
Not
iPad.
just gangs of kids anymore.
Educated.
On my iPad, but it's and I haven't even updated it yet because I'm afraid it's going to mess everything up the way I got everything set up. So I completely understand how that works. Oh, update. Ooh, this is cool. New features, right? Yeah, y'all got me once back in the day, but I'm not a neophyte anymore. I'm not a neophyte anymore. Update. Nah, I think I'll wait on the update. I'll wait on that. I have finally seen all of the ESPN 30 for 30, and I got to tell you, as a documentary goes, I found it to be very, very interesting. It's almost like a piece of American history. Very, very interesting. I mean, you could show that I would even go so far as to say that 30 for 30 for ESPN should be shown in high school.